Hi everybody, I'm Roger. I wanted to share my story with Thin Air Sports Adaptive Oxygen Therapy program, as it's quite interesting, certainly for me, and how I operate generally, and I think it might be useful to share. So the story starts last year in October when I smashed my finger so badly in a very bizarre domestic accident that it took 3.5 hours of surgery to repair it. As a byproduct of this, I was told, hey, don't run because if you fall over, you're going to break it again. Don't cycle because of the vibration, and again, if you crash. Don't go down the gym because it's on a place where it's so fragile. Now, not too bad, unless you train 15 hours a week in running and cycling, and you go down the gym 3 times a week, in which case, this is just disaster. Physically, because it sets you back. Mentally, because you can't exercise and you're used to it. So, not great. At the time, my partner was using the Thin Air machine on a program, so I had the opportunity to do so too. Chris put a program together and I started using it. Now, over the course of the weeks, I would love to say the finger got better and it was great and it was working perfectly. I can't say that. The finger was getting better, but I don't believe it was as a direct result of the machine and the program. It was probably a combination of that and simply time to heal. However, my story isn't about that, because we know that there's proven benefits. It increases production of oxidative enzymes, which decreases inflammation. But it's the other facets that really wowed me to the point where I was incredulous. So I said I do 12 to 15 hours of training a week. I track my biometrics, I track my VO2, my blood lactate threshold, I get bio-checked every so often. I know what my performance in terms of power output and where that is on the bike and what I can and can't do. So relatively serious amateur. I've been off the bike for 3 months. I've been on the Thin Air machine for probably 2 months. I got the all clear to resume training and I started with a turbo session on the bike. Just a leg freshener. It was okay. The following day, I thought, what the hell, I'll just do a performance test to see how much I've lost. Stunned. I was about 5% down, when I should have been, in effect, hugely off the pace due to having done nothing, zero muscular or cardio for 3 months. That weekend, I went out with my normal riding group and it felt like I'd been on the bike the previous week and had no time off. Now, when I've had time off for work, I've been travelling and I may not ride for 2 weeks, I can feel an absolute decrease in performance in that period of time. So you can imagine how astonished I was to take 3 months off and literally feel like I'd been on the bike the previous week. Interestingly, on its own, that's anecdotal. If I look at all the power figures from those rides, they're a few percent down, as are my times on intervals, on Strava, for example, to mid-season when I was probably on form. Now, the inflammation of the finger, the mobility got a lot better. And I do believe, a lot of that is the machine. It's also time healing. But I absolutely put my performance, and certainly the lack of loss of performance, squarely in the hands of the Adaptive Therapy Thin Air Sports machine. I'm a skeptic, and it's very easy to look at this, look at the science, which is proven, it's decades old now, but think, does it work? And I've given Chris a really hard time on everything from gas physics right the way through to, inflammation markers and all those things. But for me, the proof of the pudding was simply 3 months off, only using the Thin Air Sports machine, getting back on the bike and running, and having maybe a 5% loss with an absence of everything for 3 months. I'm just astonished. I can't recommend this highly enough. I'm still using it every day. The benefits, my finger's got a lot better. The byproducts and all the testimonials you hear, they are true. My sleep has improved. I am a lot more alert. Personally, if I do it before I go to bed, I stay awake. I'm absolutely wired afterwards. Ironically, I can fall asleep on the machine. If you're in any doubt, book yourself in for a session. If there's any sports people out there that are training for an event, this is absolutely golden for that. Perfect. Can't recommend it highly enough. If Chris wants to link any social stuff onto this, I'll happily answer any questions anybody's got for it, because honestly, for me, it took me from a position where I was mentally dreading having to start from a very, very low base again to actually just being stunned how amazing it was. So thank you, Chris, and the team. Thank you, Thin Air Sports. It's been fantastic, and I would absolutely advocate anybody in any role that is sports performance rehabilitation information based to get on this immediately. Life changing and game changing.